You wake up, you check your phone, and before you have even gotten out of bed, you have already made a financial decision. And it was not the one you think. It was not the coffee you will buy in an hour. It was not the bill you forgot to pay. It was something deeper, something quieter, something your brain did without asking your permission. Your brain, the same organ keeping you alive right now, is actively working against your ability to build wealth. Not because you are lazy, not because you lack discipline, but because of the way it was built, hundreds of thousands of years before money even existed. Here is what no one tells you. The brain you are using to try to get rich is the same brain designed to keep you safe in a world where tomorrow was never guaranteed. And safe, in that world, meant something very different from wealthy. Think about that for a moment. You are walking around with ancient hardware trying to run a modern financial life, and most people never figure out why it keeps crashing. Daniel Kahneman, the Nobel Prize-winning psychologist, spent decades studying the way humans make decisions. What he found was both fascinating and unsettling. Your brain does not make rational choices. It makes fast ones. It takes shortcuts. It protects you from perceived danger even when there is no danger at all, especially when money is involved. He called this system one thinking. It is automatic. It is emotional. It is running almost every financial decision you make before your conscious mind even wakes up. And System 1 has one priority: not wealth, survival. This is where the first trap lives. It is called loss aversion. Kahneman and his colleague Amos Tversky proved through decades of research that the pain of losing something is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of gaining something of equal value. Losing $20 feels twice as bad as finding $20 feels good. Your brain is not neutral about money. It is terrified of losing it. And terror does not build wealth. Terror hoards. Terror hesitates. Terror keeps you exactly where you are. Watch how this shows up in your life. You have a business idea, but you do not start it because what if it fails? You have savings, but you do not invest because what if the market drops? You have a salary, but you spend it fast because spending feels safer than risking it. The money is gone before it can be lost. That is not weakness. That is your ancient brain doing its job. The problem is its job description is 300,000 years out of date. Now go deeper. There is a second layer to this, and it is even more invisible than the first. Psychologists call it the status quo bias. Your brain has a powerful preference for things staying the same. Change, to your nervous system, registers as a threat, even when the change would make your life dramatically better. Even when staying the same is slowly destroying you. This is why people stay in jobs they hate for years. This is why people keep the same spending habits even after their income doubles. This is why the same money patterns your parents had tend to show up in your own life without you ever consciously choosing them. Your brain did not choose comfort. It chose familiarity. And it mistakes the two for the same thing. Napoleon Hill wrote about this in Think and Grow Rich, first published in 1937 and still one of the most widely read books on wealth ever written. He called it the poverty consciousness, a deep mental pattern shaped by environment and repetition that made people subconsciously repel the very opportunities that could change their lives, not because they did not want wealth, but because their mind had been trained to treat it as foreign, as unsafe, as something that belonged to other people. The brain avoids what feels foreign. It is not personal. It is neurological. And here is the counterintuitive twist. The more desperately you want money, the more your brain can treat it as a threat. When you are broke and afraid, your entire nervous system is flooded with stress hormones, cortisol, adrenaline. And under that kind of stress, the brain literally narrows its thinking. Research from Harvard and Princeton, published in the journal Science, found that scarcity, the feeling of not having enough, consumes cognitive bandwidth. It crowds out long-term thinking. It makes you impulsive. It makes you reactive. It keeps your focus locked on the immediate problem and unable to see the larger picture. In other words, the stress of being broke makes it harder to think your way out of being broke. The trap tightens the harder you pull.